one against the other. Over lifetimes they have accomplished such pure actions that they cannot both appear in the same world. Namely, in the same Trisahasramahasahasralokadhatu consisting of a million Mount Sumerus, a million suns and moons. In the 10 directions, these Trisahasramahasahasralokadhatus are as numerous as the sands of the Ganges, and each of them constitutes the universe of a Buddha. Only one Buddha is found there, never two. In one of these Buddha universes, the single Buddha Sakyamuni incessantly creates emanated Buddhas who resort to preaching, to apparitional bodies, to causes and skillful means of all kinds in order to save beings. It is in this sense that it is said in many sutras that two Buddhas cannot exist simultaneously in the same world. That does not mean that there are not many Buddhas in the 10 directions at the same time. Refutation of argument number 3. You also made the objection. The Buddha has said that it is hard to find a Buddha Bhagavat, and you said that in 91 kalpas, only 3 kalpas had a Buddha, and that the other kalpas were empty, lacking a Buddha, and were miserable. The Buddha has in mind those guilty men who have not planted the roots of good needed to see a Buddha when he said, "The appearance of a Buddha is a rare thing, as rare as the appearance of a flower on the udumbara tree." Indeed, these sinners cycle through the 3 bad destinies, sometimes even being reborn among humans or among the gods. But when a Buddha appears in the world, they are unable to see him. It is said that among the 900,000 householders in the city of Sravasti, 300,000 saw the Buddha, 300,000 heard him speak but did not see him, 300,000 did not even hear him speak. Now the Buddha lived at Sravasti for 25 years, and, if some citizens did not see him and some did not hear him speak, what can be said of people living far away? One day, accompanied by Ananda, the Buddha went to Sravasti on his alms round. A poor old woman was standing at the roadside. Ananda said to the Buddha, "This woman is worthy of compassion. The Buddha should save her." The Buddha replied, "This woman does not have the conditions required to be saved." Ananda continued, "May the Buddha approach her. When she sees the Buddha with his major marks and minor marks and his rays, she will experience a joyful mind and will thus fulfill the required conditions." Then the Buddha came near the woman, but she turned away and showed her back to him. The Buddha tried to approach her from 4 different sides. Each time she turned her back to him in the same way. She looked up in the air, but when the Buddha came down to her, she lowered her head at once. The Buddha rose up from the earth to make her see him, but she lowered her face with her hands and did not want to look at the Buddha. Then the Buddha said to Ananda, "What more can I do? Everything is useless. There are people who do not fulfill the conditions necessary for being saved and who do not succeed in seeing the Buddha. That is why the Buddha has said that it is as difficult to meet a Buddha as a flower on the udumbara tree. With the Buddha, it is like rain water, easy to receive in folded hands, but which the pretas, ever thirsty, never get. You say that in 91 kalpas, only 3 times has there been a Buddha. This holds for one Buddha universe taken alone but does not hold for all the Buddha universes taken together. Similarly, the other affirmation which says that the other kalpas were empty, without Buddhas, and miserable, applies only to one Buddha universe alone and not to all the others taken together. This is why we affirm the existence of the Buddhas of the 10 directions. Arguments in favor of the plurality of Buddhas. Furthermore, the Buddhas of the 10 directions do appear in the Sravaka texts, but you do not understand these texts. 1. In the Tsa Han King, Samyuktagama Sutra. It is said, when it is pouring rain, the raindrops are so close together that they cannot be counted. It is the same for the universes. In the East, I see innumerable beings born, subsisting and perishing. Their number is very great, defying calculation. It is the same in the 10 directions. In these universes of the 10 directions, innumerable beings undergo the threefold physical suffering, old age, sickness and death. The threefold mental suffering, desire, hatred and ignorance. And the threefold suffering of rebirth among the damned, the pretas and animals. All of these universes have 3 types of men, inferior, middling or a superior. Inferior men are attached to present happiness, middling men to future happiness, superior men seek the path. They are filled with loving kindness and compassion and have pity for beings. When the causes and conditions necessary for the coming of a Buddha are present, why would the effect, namely, the coming of a Buddha, not be produced? The Buddha has said, if there were no sickness, old age and death, Buddhas would not appear. That is because when one sees people tormented by old age, sickness and death, one makes the resolution to become Buddha in order to save all beings, cure their mental illnesses and take them out of the pain of rebirths. Now, precisely these universes of the 10 directions show all the causes and conditions required for the coming of a Buddha. How can you say that our universe is the only one to have a Buddha and the others do not? You merit as little credence as the person who says, here there is wood, but there is no fire. The ground is wet, but there is no water. It is the same for the Buddha. These beings suffer the pains of old age, sickness and death in their bodies. Their minds are subject to the sicknesses of desire, hatred and ignorance. The Buddha appears in the world to destroy this threefold suffering and introduce beings into the triple vehicle. How could the Buddha not appear in all the universes where this suffering exists? It would be wrong to say that a single remedy is enough to cure numberless blind people and consequently, a single Buddha to cure numberless beings. Therefore the Buddhas of the 10 directions must necessarily exist. 2. Furthermore, a sutra in the Changa Han says, there was a king of the Asuras, guardian of the north. During the last watch of the night, he went to the Buddha with many hundreds of koti of Asuras, and having bowed down to the Buddha's feet, he stood to one side. Emitting a pure light, he illumined the Jetavana with a great light. Joining his hands together, he praised the Buddha with the following stanzas. Great hero, I take refuge in you. Buddha, the greatest of those who walk on 2 feet. What you know with the wisdom the gods cannot understand. Whether they be past, future, or present, I bow before all the Buddhas. Taking refuge today in the Buddha, I also pay homage equally to the Buddhas of the 3 times. In these stanzas, it is a question of the Buddhas of the 10 directions. The Asura king bows before the Buddhas of the 3 times. Then, in particular, he takes refuge in the Buddha Sakyamuni. If the actual Buddhas of the 10 directions did not exist, he would take refuge only in the Buddha Sakyamuni and he would not say anything about the other past, future or present Buddhas. This is why we affirm the existence of the Buddhas of the 10 directions. 3. Furthermore, if there were, in the past, innumerable Buddhas, if there will be, in the future, innumerable Buddhas, there must also be, in the present, innumerable Buddhas. 4. Furthermore, if, in the Sravaka texts, the Buddha had spoken of incalculable and innumerable Buddhas of the 10 directions, beings would have said, since Buddhas are so easy to find, it is not necessary to seek deliverance zealously. If we won't meet this particular Buddha, we'll meet another one later. Out of laziness, they would not diligently seek their salvation. A gazelle that has not been shot at by an arrow does not know fear. But once it has been shot at, it bounds away at the approach of the hunter. In the same way, people who know the sufferings of old age, sickness and death and who have heard that there is but one Buddha who is very hard to find, feel fear, make energetic efforts and quickly come to escape from suffering. This is why, in the Sravaka texts, the Buddha has not spoken about the